Hey guys, it's John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the debut full-length record from hardcore / melodic hardcore / hardcore punk outfit Beartooth. Signed to Red Bull Records and formed by Caleb Shomo, formerly of Attack back in 2012. This is one of the more ambitious projects that I've heard in quite a while. In a year where very few releases have actually caught my eye, Beartooth has put a fish hook through my lip, dragged me ear first into musical oblivion. To say that this album impressed me is a complete understatement. Never in my life have I enjoyed a hardcore / melodic hardcore release this much through and through. From my first listen to the opening track, The Lines, I knew I had discovered something special. The moment that Caleb's vocals pierced through the chorus with his staggering, exaggerated up and down, screamed pronunciation of the word lines, I was reeling with anticipation. What's to come on this record? I couldn't get enough. Each song was impressing me. Disgusting sees Shomo's rage boiling over in the best way possible. Battling personal demons all the way through, it's an amazing look into a tortured soul's battered mind. I think it's truly commendable that the man isn't afraid to put himself out there on an emotional and spiritual level. It's no secret that Shomo allows his frustration with life and God to bleed into his music. I'm not gonna lie, the track I Have a Problem gets me. I shed a tear the first time that I actually truly heard the lyrics to this track. Almost the entire song is this earnest plea and scream as the man reveals he essentially almost killed himself by drinking, lying, turning his back on God out of shame. He screams, "I've found my vice, it lives in a bottle and it wants to kill me." I almost don't have words for how good this song truly is. Truly a contender for the best song on this masterpiece of a record, and easily the best and most honest lyrically. It's one of the most passionately sung and screamed songs that I've heard in ages, and that is why this album succeeds from start to finish. I believe him. That is the key. I genuinely believe and can feel what Caleb is conveying with this batch of songs. Mesmerizing and brutal guitar riffs, awesome drum patterns and bass lines all sync up amazingly well throughout Disgusting. The best part of this? Shomo plays all of the instruments himself. That's right. All the other members of the band are just live members. He recorded all of this himself. And if that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. What stands out to me the most on this record is Caleb's voice, the noise among the wreckage and chaos. And I'm not saying chaos in a bad way. It's just that music, really, if you think about it, is chaos. It's a bunch of random notes and sounds to come together to make one coherent piece of music. It's really kind of shocking to think about, especially when someone does it this well. The album even takes on subjects like bullying and abuse in the most commendable way possible. Lead single Beaten in Lips is one of the best get up and make something change anthems that I've heard, written in such a way that you actually want to get up and fight with the man. The guitars are relentless on this track, opening with these furious riffs that lead into Caleb's screamed vocals. Something I noticed about the track though, it sounds a lot like Billy Talent in the chorus. Am I crazy? Other hardcore and metalcore acts, take note here. This is how you make an inspirational song for the underdogs. I get so fucking pumped after hearing this song. I just want to go out and like destroy evil or something like that. If you're looking for some of the more melodic hardcore tracks on the record, I would definitely recommend checking out the tracks In Between and One More. In Between is another song definitely worth noting as it sees a glimpse of hope in this dark life of his. The chorus sounds absolutely beautiful as Shomo sings, "Up on the mountain, I see down below, it's easy to lose yourself, I know." The track is one of the more clean-cut vocally, but that doesn't necessarily take away from its power and potency. Actually, it doesn't whatsoever. There are still screamed vocals in the second verse, and overall it simply inspires me knowing that there are highs and lows in life, but we'll all get through the darkness if we can just see the good and beauty in everyday life. Shomo questions his own self-worth on the powerhouse that is One More. "I want to know if my soul is worth saving," he screams. Most likely a cry out to God as he feels worthless after his battles with depression and alcoholism. I also can't overlook the menacing track Ignorance is Bliss. It's an inventive spin on the common saying, and it sees Shomo once again battling against None other than himself. It's so refreshing to just hear a musician that can be real on a record. We're not hearing about his swagger, we're not hearing about his riches and how many girls he can fuck. We're hearing about his real personal struggles, and it's just so good to be hearing something so honest. One of the boldest reminders on the entire record comes on the short track Dead, as he says, "Sin does not define us. Sin will never control us." Relapsing sees Shomo screaming at himself. The whole song seems to be a conversation between himself, his mind, and his own personal demons. It's easily one of my favorites, with some of the most memorable screamed vocals and guitars on Disgusting. Me in My Own Head pretty much explains how Shomo has destroyed himself from within. At this point, I find myself truly feeling bad for the guy. I had no idea how much of a struggle he was really going through after Attack up until now. I really hope that he can stay sober and continue making awesome music like this. If I had to single out a weaker track, it would be Keep Your American Dream. It's by no means a bad song, but it does feel a little bit more cliche when it comes to musical stylings and vocal presentation. Although I will say that the breakdown alone pretty much justifies this track making the record. There are many tracks on the album that mention God, including I Have a Problem, One More, Dead, as well as Sick and Disgusting. The latter of those sees this guy in total emotional turmoil, recalling the times that he asked God to take his own life. It truly is the best show of musicianship that I've heard in about a year or so, aka the release of my favorite album of 2013. Something about June release dates, huh? This blows every other release I've heard so far this year out of the water. By far the best thing I've heard this year, and it's definitely in my top 5 releases of the past few years. Don't be turned off by the album just because I said God or Jesus, or just because he does a few times. You don't necessarily have to be a Christian or even be spiritual to love this release. Everybody has their own personal demons. It's a glowing 5 out of 5 for me, the first perfect score I've awarded to any album this year. You might recall that I revoked the perfect score for the Bayside release Cult. That one was handed out in haste, and I explained it later on, so this is truly the first perfect score I've awarded in 2014. The first perfect score of the year, can you believe it? I'm truly stoked. I'm happy to be so in love with the record. Let me know what you guys are thinking about the Beartooth debut Disgusting in the comments section down below. Don't forget to hit the like button for my first perfect score of the year and my 302nd video. You know that's important too. Come on, 302? That's gotta be an important number somewhere. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Make sure to check out my latest review. That one's right here. And of course, you can see my other videos on my second channel over here. Track reviews, movie reviews, that sort of thing are all over there. I'm gonna do that X-Men review eventually. Of course, I've got Jack White's review on the way, Slaves, Passenger, just to name a few of the releases that are on the way for me here at ARTV. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you very soon.